Welcome to my YouTube channel. My first video, I decided to start with a movie that I absolutely hate, which is Queen and Slim, which was written by Lena Waithe. So without further ado, let's talk about this shitty movie.
Are you trying to die?
No, I just always wanted to do that.
Well, don't do it while I'm driving, man.
You should try it.
No, I'm good.
Scene from the movie where the supposed to be smart, intelligent, resourceful, capable female lead, who is also an attorney, sticks her head out of a moving vehicle while she's supposed to be on the run from the police. And not only that, she encourages her male counterpart. And by the way, neither one of these characters have names because the writer of the movie hates characters that have names. So Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Frodo Baggins, Mookie, John McClane, all these people would never exist in her movies because their characters aren't allowed to have names. But nonetheless, the female lead encourages the male lead to stick his head out of the window so both of them can be seen by anyone driving by and report them to the police so they can easily be captured. And once again, the female lead character is an attorney. And she tells us this in the beginning of the movie. So the whole movie, I'm just wondering why she didn't use any of her lawyer connections. You know, she might know some judges, maybe some people in the police force that will listen to her. But does she use any of those resources? Any of her intelligence? No. The moment they kill the police officer, she's like, we have to run. And of course, the male character, who is castrated the whole movie, isn't allowed to make any decisions, so he just blindly follows her lead. And once again, the female lead, who is an attorney, runs from the police and does not contact any lawyers or judges to help them out.
So I was reading that it took you 18 months to finish the first draft of this script. So I was wondering, is that just because you're super busy, or was there a specific plot point that you found most challenging to crack?
That's an inaccuracy. It's 8 months. 8 months.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That seems fast all of a sudden.
Right, and I do tend to write pretty fast. So it was 8 months. I may either me mumbling or someone mishearing my words. But then after I did that pass, it's constant, like whittling and fine tuning and tweaking. I'm always trying to find even more truth in the story. So I'm always tweaking it up until even when I'm filming.
Perhaps if you spent more time writing a good script, the movie wouldn't have been as shitty. But as you can see, she took 8 months to write a script, and the reason why is because she wanted to capitalize on the unrest of black people in 2019 due to all the unjust murders by the police force. And that's why she hurried up to write the script and put out the worst shit that she possibly could, which was a liquid poop.
We take some risks in the movie as well, and you know, you never know how critics are going to respond to that, but I didn't care. I said I wanted to do something different.
You just heard it. The writer of the movie said she didn't care what anyone thought and did what she wanted, and that's exactly what the movie looks like. Now, I'm not gonna hate on the cinematography of the movie. Visually, it was appealing. The soundtrack of the movie was good. This is strictly just to bash the writing of the movie, which was horrendous. The plot was terrible. The characters, the decisions they made, the characters were tropes. Almost every single character was a trope. And that is why I think this movie is terrible. It's not because of the acting or the directing or the cinematography. The writing was egregiously terrible.
Particular about like what artists I get behind and who I support. But you know, for me, it's just about really raising the bar and having quality content and it really being prestigious.
Can I be your legacy?
You already are.
Very prestigious, very regal filmmaking right there. Now, if you want to know what the movie is about, I'll just let the writer tell you herself what what the movie was about.
People that don't know, what's the premises of Queen and Slim?
Yeah, a black man and a black woman are on a first date, a Tinder date. Yeah, going great, but it's not going horribly either. Gives her a ride home. And way home, they get pulled over by a police officer, and things escalate pretty quickly. Ultimately, end up killing the police officer in self-defense. They make the decision to run, to go. They ultimately become these sort of icons overnight, and black people are like, is this a new Black Panther? Is this what this is? Is this what we doing now? It was really a story about black people deciding to live, deciding to survive a traffic stop, which is, for us, that's almost like a superhero story. And what happens is it's really a meditation on blackness. Meditation on blackness.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Nigga's tripping.
Now, Lena Waithe will have you believe that she was just so fired up about Black lives being taken and Black Lives Matter that she searched the depths of her soul and came up with this idea that would change filmmaking and really put black people to the front. And that's just not true. This is James Frey. This is the white guy that gave Lena Waithe the idea for her movie. And then from there, she basically wrote the script. So the idea for Queen and Slim actually came from this white guy.
And it was a story that came from somewhere deep down in my soul. And I really kind of put my body, my blood, my sweat, my tears onto the celluloid.
Now, how hard is it to get a movie like this made? Because when you go to the theater, you go to the studio and you're like, look, black guy killing a cop at a traffic stop.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and this is really, I want to make sure this narrative is clear. It was not difficult to get the movie made. They came after us. We were like Jesus Shuttlesworth and he's got game. I written this script that I knew was going to be potent, and I knew was not going to be like the most easygoing movie, but I knew I wanted Melina to direct it. And when the script kind of started going out and the buzz just started happening immediately, people were like, what is this? And then all these studios like lined up and was like, what do we got to do to get it? And I was like, well, I want final cut. Point blank, period.
What does that mean for us people who don't know?
Final cut
language?
means we get the final say on what is on that screen. I get the final say on what was on the page, and me and Melina get final say on what was on the screen.
Dope.
Which is rare for first-time filmmakers. But I was like, that's what I need for this movie because of what I'm doing. I said I want to shoot it and release it in the same year because it's urgent. I said I want a fat budget because I don't believe that black people should be sitting in the back of the bus when it comes to cinema. We should have these small budgets to make big movies. And I said I don't believe in test screenings. And test screenings are what happens when they show the movie to a test audience and they say, oh, I didn't get this, or I didn't understand that. I was like, I only will do one test screening. It should be 100% black audience. And what they say, I shouldn't have to be beholden to put it into the movie. Because sometimes we as the people may not be ready for certain things and say, oh, I didn't like that, or I didn't get this. Like, let me give you something you may not know you need yet.
So let's see what we just learned from that snippet. So she said that she didn't have to fight to get the movie made. You know why? Because film studios want to make money. And they knew that black people would go see that movie because all the unrest that was going on at that time with the police shootings. So the studios didn't support the movie because they felt like it was really gonna help people. They wanted to make money off the black people that they probably knew would go see this movie, especially with it being marketed towards black people, and with Lena Waithe herself saying it was a meditation on blackness. However, as you also heard, she wanted to have a test screening with an all-black audience, but she didn't want to have to listen to any of the feedback from the black audience for who she was trying to make the movie for, allegedly. That just seems a bit hypocritical. So you want to make a movie that's the blackest movie of all time, but you don't want feedback from black people. You got the idea to write the movie from a white person, but you don't want any feedback on the movie from white people.
They were all like, boom, and also said, I won't take a note from a white person on this film.
This is why I hate this movie. And maybe it's more so the writer of the movie just bothered me with the way she went about promoting the film and to me, propping herself up, but it just seems a bit pretentious. But we'll keep going.
But no, it was really this author, James Fry, who some people may or may not know. He kind of got into that controversy with Oprah about A Million Little Pieces. He's just, he's a guy who like comes up with ideas and stuff. He came up to me at a party and was like, yo, I have an idea for a movie that I can't write. He was like, 2 black people, get pulled over, kill a cop in self-defense and go. And he had a different title, he had a different outline. I was like, I don't want none of that. I said, I want that seed of an idea and I want to build the tree. So I was like, but as a, I'm a fair person. So I was like, I would share story by credit with you. I was like, but I'm going to take it and go write this thing. He was like, all right, cool, have at it. And so I went and really started developing Queen and Slim. And my biggest North Stars were she would be Malcolm X and he would be Martin Luther King. And by the end of the movie, they swap places.
Not the Malcolm X and Martin Luther King name drop. Come on. Like, how pandering can you be? And I think that's what it is about this movie. It pandered so hard to black people, but all the black characters were tropes, such as the baby dad who spoke rudely to his son, the uncle who was a pimp.
Thank you, Uncle Earl. Nigga, I ain't your uncle.
As you just heard her say, she got the idea from this white guy at a party. The only thing that was different was she changed the name and the outline, but basically the seed of the idea came from this person. It wasn't her sitting there mining and trying to figure out how she could use her platform to uplift black people. So I'm including this scene because I feel like it's one of the most superfluous, pointless scenes in the movie, where the male character who is on the run goes into a gas station without a disguise, where he obviously will be on camera with a gun, and then proceeds to hand that gun over to the stereotypical gun-hungry white guy who's so eager to hold his gun. And then the white guy points it at him and says, "Oh, I'm just joking." What is the point of this scene in this movie where these characters are supposed to be running away from the police because they killed a police officer? I mean, come on.
Why is he under arrest?
I hate this movie.
Get back in the car, you're going to jail too.
I am an attorney, and I demand to know why this man is under arrest. I'm reaching for my cell phone.
Here is another annoying scene from the movie where the, once again, strong female lead, who is an attorney, gets out of her car and antagonizes an already irritable officer who is pointing a weapon at the person she's with, instead of, just getting out, filming, trying to maybe calmly talk to the officer. As you can see, she yells at him, and that ends up with her being shot. Now, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't stand your ground at certain times with the police, you shouldn't know your rights, but if the officer is already pointing a gun at someone, yelling at them is probably not going to get them to calm down. The best thing you could do is record the situation and try to calmly talk to the officer, not yell at the person who's already angry with the gun.
I want a guy to show me myself. I want him to love me so deeply I'm not afraid to show him how ugly I can be.
Yes, that is a scene of the two characters who are supposed to be on the run from the police. Yeah, they stopped to go dance at this jazz club, and then the director and writer of the movie decided to add this little cheesy voiceover. And also you can see that they don't have any disguises on, so if anyone saw them, they can make a citizen's arrest and, detain them for the police, since they did kill somebody and run away. But what's important is that they bond and have this dance scene in the movie. That's what's important.
Why do black people always feel the need to be excellent? Why can't we just be ourselves?
Really an experience, in terms of just like pure blackness. There's no filter on it. Finding the characters was interesting because I didn't want them to be prototypes, but yet, in essence, they are prototypes, you know, for every Black man and every Black woman. Although we are not all a monolith, but I really kind of wanted to put pieces of us into these characters so that way we could see ourselves in them. To me, the templates were Malcolm X and Martin Luther King in terms of ideologies and ways of going through life, and in the most simplest terms. But then also, too, a thing was I wouldn't take a note from a white person.
So this is essentially my whole beef with the movie, is it was just so pretentious and everything was contrived. For example, the gas station gun scene. It's almost like the writer was like, we need to add some tension just so the movie can be enticing. And so she shoved this scene in the movie and it didn't even fit. Same as this scene, this sensual, dancey, romantic scene. While the characters are supposed to be on the run from the police, they stop to go dancing without disguises on. And it's like the characters didn't make any choices of their own. It's like the writer made all the choices for the character. And that's a sign of contrived forced writing, when the writer is making all the decisions based on what they want the movie to do instead of what the characters they created would actually do. So yeah, that's my review on the terrible writing of Queen and Shit. Excuse me. Sorry, I keep doing that. Queen and Slim. Sorry, I get the two mixed up, the shit and the slim. As you can see, it was a movie that was essentially created to prey on the unrest of Black people in 2019 after all the police shootings. A white guy knew that he probably could get this idea off, but he couldn't write it, so he gave it to Lena Waithe, who knew that it would blow up because of all the unrest. So she quickly wrote the script in 8 months, got it to all these studios. All the studios wanted to make a bunch of money off the plight of Black people and their unrest, so they said, hey, you know what? We'll give you whatever you want to make this movie because we know it'll make our money back. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. We don't even really care if the movie is good as long as Black people go see it. Lena Waithe wanted to make a Black movie, but as you heard her say, didn't want any feedback from any Black people or white people. So it just sounded like she didn't want any feedback from anybody on this movie. She didn't want to take a note from a white person, but she didn't want the Black people to do a test screening and give her feedback. So once again, that might be why the movie Queen and Slim was actually a piece of big, hot, steamy doo-doo. Goodbye.